Well, zap up good, goofballs. Oh,
Sup? I don't know why, but the stream link isn't on Discord anymore.
yeah, I kind of removed it, so
Why?
I don't know. Just being
Well,
bored.
apparently the fastest typer in the world just put the link in the whatever before you got rid of it. I don't know.
So what have you been up to?
Nothing really.
Same here. Just been working on the next cryptid quest. So far, 53 questions, though 28 test remains. And I don't know if I managed to fix to find the rest. I mean, I have found that it did find one website that has tons of cryptids, but some of them are has been proved to be real creatures. Some other have been hoax. Others has been proven to be real animals. But there are those among the cryptids that I can't choose because there is no confirmed date when they were first discovered, or even even though it mentioned where the country was discovered, but it usually when I find something, I usually get where input some of the information, like let's say if there's a lake monster, and I usually used to put if I even if this has a name, and it's probably you guys probably not had even heard of it, so I put usually the nickname on it, and I usually don't want to put there where this lake monster is being discovered or first seen. That's the reason why I put number of different countries, and sometimes when I do manage to find some information, like say in which year, exact year, or during the decades, or which century it was first discovered, and also like if there's any information of estimation how long this like a cryptid can be in. That is the sort of the information I like to have when I do my cryptid question. And it's since like I said, there are tons of those, but some of them doesn't even have any official names or location, or well, maybe location, but doesn't say exactly when it's been discovered. Some and there is one of those I almost immediately roll out. If those has been course, some of this has been could have been seen for since ancient times, like Loch Ness monster. You may think that has always been in modern times. Actually, it isn't. Loch Ness monster has been known for very more longer than that. I think it is about. I think it last. I think that we have known about Loch Ness monster in about 1500 years, but it wasn't like in the early to mid 1900s when it officially became well known in the world. But when I'm trying to find some cryptids, well, it's based on the other things that had to be in some could have some um, mostly I want to have those with has confirmed location and not too old. Minus those for exceptions like Loch Ness monster, but that has only been known. But I need to have at least some sort of some more information, like saying when it was first seen and what if there's any sort of mention of how long or how tall this cryptid is. I mean, I need to have some more information if I were to put that cryptid in for my next cryptid questions. It's if you like go say, oh, what about Wikipedia? Oh yeah, I have been there, but sadly, There is only a few that is mentioned, and some of them actually had been used before. I mean, I can't put the same question. Maybe it's in the third or fourth cryptid quiz. That's. I mean, I had already done the third cryptid for another upcoming or future game show stream, and I'm currently working on the fourth one. But I had like done almost 53 questions of 80, and it's a little bit tricky to figure out the rest of those. But that will. I mean, since I had done like over 50 already, so it's um it's a little tricky try to figure out. I mean, I'm trying to figure out some like sea serpents or sea creatures that has been recorded. There is one that's definitely would not be involved, which is the kraken. Kraken has been known for thousands of years, especially in up here in northern Europe and all that. And I mean, kraken is well known, and it's not like a cryptid I would never be put in one of my questions since it's so already well known about it. Even the Vikings knew about it. They told us stories about this sea creature, and yeah, it's like, and also that unicorns they have been considering as a cryptid. Nope, I'm more as more mythical. I'm trying to figure out how to find some more, um, like say, different Bigfoots, other cryptids in Americas and even Europe and all places. But there isn't any. That's an I. That's most of them are all being taken over. Unless, well, there's only one place that there's no supposed cryptids. That is at South Pole. I mean, there is no permanent human settlements in there, that region. So try to figure out to find any type of monster or so. Yeah, it is. I mean, I did find a lot of uh, pages that involves like sea monsters that had been found, say, late 1800s and early 1900s, but they were mostly physical remains like carcasses, which is not what I would not be used for story. I prefer to have those, well, not that type of questions. But I will try to figure out if I can find more questions about the cryptids or not. But if I can't, I may have to short it down from 80 to maybe I don't know, presumably maybe 70 or 60 questions instead. I mean, it's harder to figure out to be honest. I mean, I mean, you don't want to. I don't want to be using the same question repeatedly over and over. That's it's it sucks if I had to be using the same question over and over. So yeah, so I have been trying to figure out a lot of more cryptic questions, and I'll tell you, there is. You may think that's easy, but it can be, but it depends which one you want to be putting it. uh, so, what you been up to today? Though?
Nothing really.
Yeah, I haven't do much. Just watch some TV. Um, yeah, and worked on this cryptic questions. I mean, I wish I could have seen um, a second season of one particular show. I mean, I've seen the first season of that particular show on TV for a few times, but I knew there's a second one, but they never broadcast it in here. And try to figure out to find it online. Um, yeah, as almost impossible. As like Good luck. Oh boy. Yep, so that's much about that. Yeah, I haven't really done much myself today, except just not much. I wonder what the others are even, if there anyone else showing up. I mean, it seems that Kubo is inactive, but the others are pretty much AFK. Excuse me.
Well, I did learn something this morning. Yesterday, New Hampshire's Mount Washington broke box records with the coldest temperature recorded in the U.S. Negative 108 degrees. It's completely ridiculous.
Yep, pretty much. Well, Braun is here.
I know that's in Fahrenheit, but that's still pretty insane.
Yeah, it is. I mean, considering that the temperature in the world is crazy. Oh, you probably heard about this this supposed alleged weather balloon that has been over northeastern U.S.
Oh boy, yeah, I've heard of it.
Yep, and I can tell this: it has been shut down. America shut it down, literally.
Wait,
But-
we did?
Yep, and there's another one on the way. First, China. They claimed that that balloon didn't even exist at all. It was something else, or I'm like, people. Okay, China. If that isn't your balloon, who else sent it? Japan? Russia? India? Nope. It's so weird. And then they confirmed it was actually existed. Then it said it was just a scientific balloon for weather or something. But I will say this: United States doesn't buy that bullshit. Oh, welcome in here, you coconut.
Hi.
You're light, dude.
Just a little.
Yeah, I mean that's the balloon that the China sent. I mean, what the question is about why? I don't understand why they're trying to spy on. I mean, think about it. I mean, America has tons of bases, army bases, and even that's restricted airspace. The only one place that I could see that they would probably spy on, which is Groom Lake Facility, aka Area 51. Here's the most funny thing is, like, before 2000s, according to the government, the base didn't exist until like Earth after 2000s. Sadly, they're mistaken. The base has been operational since, I believe, either before or after World War II. But it wasn't until like Barack Obama actually made an announcement the base existence around 2008, I think it was. And that base you may had always been associated with aliens and all that, but it isn't. They're mostly for experimental aircrafts. They were actually a number of years ago. They were, I believe it wasn't that many years. I believe it was maybe just 1 or 2 years ago. Um, there were some people that actually, I believe that this was on Twitter and Facebook. People like made an announcement. They were announcing that they were going to storm this Area 51 facility in a force to the government to reveal the existence of aliens. I believe that they have managed to gather about 1 million people in that place, just outside the facility. But a lot of the people eventually left, chicken out, or stopped by the official line where they were being approached. But yeah, I don't think there's actually there's any aliens in that particular facility. But I do know it is confirmed that they had been testing some experimental planes in that facility for decades, like the stealth bombers. Those have been tested and flight there. But there is one man who actually vanished. Some people alleging saying that was due to the fact that he discovered something, since this particular place that he was exploring was a cave, what he called the M cave. And since the opening has a shape almost as an M. And he first discovered the cave at some time from, but then he went to try to find it again. But since then, he was completely gone. There was another guy. This one actually really much rose in TikTok. He made a lot of videos about himself and his girlfriend, his family, and all that stuff, until he discovered or that he saw something which some people said a giant. After that video on TikTok, the title is said from on the video when he said he found a giant. The government found him. So he vanished. He completely vanished. Some people believe that the government took him. But the thing is, people claim to have found giants for centuries in the US. Ever since even during the 1800s. That's insane. So even if this guy did manage to find the proof of the existence of giants in America, and then suddenly the government is decided to just take him, it doesn't make sense. I mean, if people have been aware of the supposed giants in America since the settlers came there, so why is there any reason? I mean, what if Kuvo recording that he saw a real UFO right outside his window? And this might be a little bit creepy to you guys, but in the early 1960s to the 70s, if people claimed that someone has seen a UFO and calling in that to the police about this, that have seen a UFO, shortly afterwards they will hear a knock on the door, and they're often two men in black meeting Manny Black, visiting you and try to tell you that you didn't see anything, that what you saw was an American craft, not a UFO. But some people have been saying that they claim that they agreed not to be mentioning it to the people, to the public. But others who refused, they weren't still even by this, that they believed that it was a UFO. They were harassed, what is called Man in Black, because they were supposed to be working for a government, like a shadow government within the US government. Like this Man in Black was supposed to be part of an organization. It was so secret. Only like the top top high officials like the president, vice president, and maybe his advisors, and maybe as the top generals know about it, and no one else. But unfortunately, most people doesn't believe. And now these days, a lot of people can actually be saying that they have seen a UFO. You may think that even US presidents have seen a real UFO. I believe it was Jimmy Carter. He saw a UFO shortly before his election, and during that he did mention it. And he said after he would become a president, he would make a final, an official statement about it. But shortly after his statement, it never came. He withdraw his claim that he would. So that is suspicious. I mean, if there is any, um, if there's any like aliens out there, why would it be as such? Why would it have to be any secret about it? Though people claim to have seen aliens even like in ancient times. That was the hence of the ancient astronaut theory. Even some people believe that gods, the ancient gods, could have been the aliens. Even some, so those ancient alien astronaut speculations, they claim that Atlantis was actually a spaceship, and that's the reason why it was never been found any trace of it. But then I don't know. It's a lot of speculations, and you may have to think about yourself. So, friendly coconut, what you been up to? Go, 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 go.
Kobo, wake up! Oh, he's dead. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't. I mean, think about it. If aliens do exist, so why wouldn't they have been to Earth as before? I mean, even though the U.S. government actually had announced only a few years ago that they are actually officially announced of the existence of they believe of the existence of aliens or at least UFOs, and that they had started this type of program or organization within the government to record to investigate any claim of a UFO.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I mean, it would have been weird. I mean, think about it. Earth in our system, one of billions billions of planets in our own galaxy. There is some astronomers estimate it can be as almost 100 billion planets in our galaxy alone. But it could be less, it could be more. But assuming there are billions of planets across the entire in our galaxy itself, and think about it. If even with this we had discovered tons of planets which is located within the habitable zone. But so far, we have those planets has been so far away that we can't even detect any signs of any liquid or ocean on the planet's surface, or any if there's any life on there. We had no way to detect any sort of form of um, high any form of high tech development, like say as early. Uh, I mean, we don't know if there's any alien lives on those exoplanets that we have found so far. And even if there are some of the maybe wait is if there's our life there, some can be still on like prehistoric level. Others can be at as pre-industrial age level, meaning they had not even developed into radios or anything like it. And even if they are in the industrial age, or maybe as some people call it, as electronic age, we're meaning that we has that involves satellite uh, limit space flight like we are. And even if we would have discovered a planet that is advanced enough, as almost as at the same level as we are, even if we send a message to them, it would take, let's say, if the planet is located, say, 20 years from us, it would take 20 years for them to get in one answer and them sending one back. It feels like within, unless that we have developed this technology that we can send the lasers, because there is one thing as is called quantum computers, which we haven't been able to develop yet, because those type of computers requires had to be cooled down to almost like absolute zero temperature. That cold they require. And even if we do find a planet that is habitable with any form of life, and okay, if we do find a planet that, let's say, if we manage to find a world that's inhabited by some form of humanoid, or any maybe a creature that has 4 legs, 4 arms, and one head, and that they like, oh, this is creepy, but at least we have one official sign of that there are life out there. But then, if they are very much in the early development of society, like say from the Stone Age or Bronze Age, and if we appeared on landing on the surface, what do you think that they will see us as if they happened?
I have no idea.
Well, the two things that could be happening: terrified, but it's one thing as which they could consider seeing us as would it be gods, because we land on the moon, came from the sky, and it maybe if we believed on Earth that we have believed, like say within Christianity, we believe that there is a God in heaven, and in within the Norse mythology with for Odin, they live also in heaven, in Valhalla. And so, if we really manage to find an alien planet out there, if they have some sort of beliefs of deities or gods who could also live in the sky, or if this can be an advanced culture, what if if we manage to find a planet that might be even perhaps a few centuries more advanced than we are? Maybe they have developed some form of, they already have developed fusion technology. They can travel between stars in less than half of a time, or maybe have found a way to travel faster than light. Even though that's not possible according to Albert Einstein, but still, if they manage to find something, develop some form of technology that they could travel between across a galaxy in less than just 1 second. or even travel from our galaxy to Andromeda less than 1 second. Well, if they had developed that type of technology, and we managed to get in contact with them, just imagine how we will feel like we hadn't managed to find there is life. But compared to them, and compared to their advancements, their level they are, their intelligence, we would have considered it as almost as low-grade morons. There is that possibility that because in one of those Dyson theory, like there's a species that could construct a hollow sphere around a star that could contain maybe an entire solar system. That would mean that this species could have been live on the surface and have an exhaustible and enormous of energy. They can, meaning they can harness the energy, the power to almost unlimited. Just imagine that. It's incredible. But so far, despite how many signals that we have had received out from space, like the WOW signal from during the 70s, only happened once. That signal never came back. So there is a lot more those signals that we have been received, but many of them have been declared as maybe as background noise from the cosmic background radiation after Big Bang. Or some other those signals that we have that have been received could easily been dismissed as natural space anomaly, which is true, because if the same pattern of the sound, the signal have been repeated, maybe frequently, that would have been a sign from some sort of intelligent life form. And if that's have been possible, but if we only have one signal that only once, it's hard to prove if that's even a sign of an intelligent life, or if it's just a complete normal space sound anomaly. Because there is, I can say this, in this sci-fi show Stargate universe, there were this alien race called the Ancients. They were humanoids, but they had discovered a signal or patterns deep within the cosmic background radiation. Meaning, it was a sign of an intelligence. Predates the Big Bang. And how that's even possible? Because before the Big Bang, there was nothing. So how is it even possible that? Well, there is one theory that the universe that we know of is when the Big Bang happened, it was the formation of an old universe that before Big Bang there was one universe, but that one that collapsed, and one is which led to Big Bang, to explosion to form the current universe. And when the next big crush, which is the name of when the universe is going to be collapsing into itself, will form another big explosion, could possibly even form a new Big Bang, a whole new universe will be formed. That means, well, that means like, will we be reborn in that universe? Undoubted. There is one episode that kind of reminds me of that from Futurama, where Bender, Professor Herbert, and Fry, they traveled forward in time in a time machine. We can only go forward, not backwards, because they called forward time machine or a forward machine. And they traveled to the end of the Big Bang or the universe explosion. And suddenly, Big Bang happens and it forms the universe as identical as the previous ones. which is kind of weird. I mean, there is no thing, there is nothing that can actually sustain or survive if you're even close to Big Bang. Like in Star Trek Voyager, there were a member of the Q species had been kept locked in 300 years in a comet because he wanted to commit suicide because according to them the species is immortal. They had lived for billions of years, but he traveled. He took their USS Voyager back in the time to the time when the universe was formed. And this Q named Quinn, or one that was not named as Q, he stated that you can be feel proud. You can be the direct ancestor of all humanoid life forms across the universe. And this particular Q, he was actually played by John Delancey, the same that made the voice for Discord. I mean, it's kind of weird if he says that. Who would you say would be the best character from the best MLP character of the male ones?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think Spike is among them, and Discord at least one of them. Um, if I said this, Cody, the dragon, he has been telling me many times that he feels that for one entire story from the beginning of the G4 up to G5, there has been a lot of abuse of Spike, and I actually feel sorry for that. But things started to change for Spike eventually after he got his wings. After Spike got his wings, the abusement of him was not in the same level. Hey, he was even the Dragon Lord for a brief moment before he chose to give it to Amber. If he would have been the Dragon Lord, who wonder how things would have been? Because if that meant that if he chose to be the Dragon Lord, well, I don't know what else could have been happening. It could have been made that Spike had either two options: either step down as a Dragon Lord, or had to stay in Dragonlance to be as a Dragon Lord. Because I doubt that Spike could have been in Ponyville and be the Dragon Lord, because it's quite distant between those parts of the world. It would take days to travel, even though before he had even had his wings. But I think he actually made the right choice to give the scepter to Amber, because even of course in the beginning she even had hard time to embrace, to accept the friendship, because before then dragons, they took anything they wanted to. They could kill the ponies and take the treasure from them. They can burn almost anything. But in the same way, I wonder how things would have been if Garble would have became as the next Dragon Lord. Think about it. He had made already in a statement before the competition even started that he will burn down every single pony homes and take their pillows. Or was it one of the other dragons who said that? So because they will sleep in their comfortable beds, but they had to sleep on the hard ground. And assuming that's possible to have it happened, dragons could all eventually use, based on the thing in the last episodes, the two last from season 9, when some of the dragons actually came to aid to the main 6. That was actually thanks mainly to Smolder. Because if Smolder hasn't even returned back home to encourage the fellow dragons to join her, because seeing how much the dragons, especially how much Garble, because during the time, because when his fellow dragon friends saw that how he was writing poems, they thought he was pathetic. He was a complete loser. But considering what had happened, that all of these poems. Oh, hey, Lord Vegas, in the comments, you can join in if you want to. I mean, think about it. I mean, if Garble had even made those poems, the eggs that was supposed to hatch, because thanks to Garble and his friends, they had somehow disconnected the lava flow underneath the eggs. Because that lava was supposed to be warming them to heat them up so they could hatch. And that was one mistake Garble realized. So when he took the idea, wanted to take this to embrace it as his poem, despite the other dragons laughed at him, he still performed. And despite that, the laughter they did, the laughter fire was apparently even hotter than the normal fire. And that was the one of the things made the eggs to hatch. And eventually, even Amber at the time then actually fully embraced friendship, had accepted it. But there were means of other dragons had even accepted the friendship of with ponies. Because they felt that they were too soft. But seeing how Amber's leadership, how she like made a law or maybe as a rule to accept, because she did point out that if Garble had stepped in like that while doing his performance, those eggs could eventually not have been hatched at all, meaning those dragon babies within the eggs could have died. That would have meant dozens of dragon generations that were supposed to be born never did. That would have been a huge decline in the population of dragons in Dragonlance. If you see from that point of view, I mean, we can see from one moment how Amber, she had actually embraced the acceptance of the leadership, but also had embraced the friendship. If it wasn't all for that, and how much and not even that Garble, how he really ignored the other dragons' statements or comments about his performance. If he had done that, he would not have even performed, and the eggs would not have been hatched. And seeing how much Spike and especially seeing like when Smolder found out that Garble was the exact dragon has been bullying Spike, see how angry she were because she had learned a true meaning of friendship. And I don't understand why most people can actually assume why Spike would have been abused. Okay, I can completely understand in the beginning because back from season 1 until like season 7, I believe, Spike had always been abused for most part. But there is actually one episode, season 6 premiere, when actually was no wait, that was not that. There was in the episode when Flurry Heart's crystalling was going to be taking place. When I believe this was actually in season 7. When Thorax came into the Crystal Empire, and seeing how Spike's reaction when he was saved by Thorax, a changeling. He was expected that all the other changelings would be evil, but he wasn't. Seeing how he saved Spike's life, he was willing to do that, and that all he wanted was an actual genuine friend. Spike, he actually gave Thorax the chance. But even it meant It could even meant that Forax could have lied to him the whole time. He could have been a backstabber. But Forax never did. He was honest about who he was, despite that Cadence, Shining Armor, Twilight, and the others, especially the Royal Guards, they didn't trust Forax. But after that, Spike defended him. Spike defended Forax, and after even sure it took time for the rest of the Pontikians in the Crystal Empire to accept him as a friend. And it's showing if he can do that. I mean, Spikes had actually grown. He had matured. After he defended and convinced the others, the royal family and the royal guard, that Forax was actually good. He was friendly. He was completely different from the others. You may think that all the other dragons are the same. Well, since Spike is an exception because he was raised by ponies. If he had been raised by dragons, he would have been mean, nasty, evil, like Garble. Definitely. Guarantee, I will definitely guarantee if Spike would have been raised by dragons, he would have been such nasty as Garble. All the way. But it's I mean, considering how many other things about Spike though. From the season 1 and onwards, he was abused, sure. Especially when they were in this comic book world. That despite he was, some people will say, well, he was the hero. He was the one who managed to bring the dolls together in the end to teach them how to use the their new supposed superpowers. Sure, that must make me that. But in the end, it was the main six who made the whole things to make it happen. He was all like their sidekick. Because he didn't have no superpowers like at all. He was like Robin to the Justice League. Minus Batman though, but still. But Spike always did show he didn't take any of those abused to heart. He completely ignored that he was abused. Even when the time when Rarity used that book that Spike found in the castle of in the old castle. When he confronted her that he saw her, he couldn't make him to tell the truth in the end. But seeing how much the things that she was doing, he couldn't stand anymore, and he wanted to confront her, which he did. And seeing how much things that Spike had, his character, his personality evolved throughout the entire series. And seeing that how one of the things, this was not one of the main six abuse thing, that when he went to see Equestria underneath the mountain of Mount Eris, the Hippogriff's home, he would turn into fish. And seeing how's his reaction, like he was those bubble fish. Okay, that was funny, but not like none of the main six has any abusement to that one. But still, Spike has always been treated as a doormat, a punching bag, and even despite how much later on in season 7, I do believe, when he protected Forax, his character had evolved, had matured a whole new level. And even when he had his wings, Twilight tried to teach him how to fly. And even when he was willing to give up that he could fly because despite her teaching, because when the Smolder actually managed to tell him the reason why she wasn't unable to teach Spike, because her feathers in her wings. But dragons, they have skin, like leather skin. That was the reason. And even though that's some people like, that is not abuse, which isn't. I mean, Twilight was genuine trying to help Spike to fly. And but I can understand it's there is a lot of criticism against Spike. That's true, Cody. But I mean, I can understand that. Okay, you may all hate me for this, but sometimes Spike was a complete idiot in a certain amount of times throughout the series run. Because especially when he found that book in the old castle, he thought maybe that this could help Rarity to make her to realize her potential. And the time when they were in the old castle to try to clean it up, when yeah, that's all kinds of things. And Spike has always not been all over the punching bag. He has sometimes even had been abused by his friends, but especially when Twilight and her friends were challenged by Shining Armor to get this crown which they made when they were kids. And that when Spike mentioned afterwards that he always wished that he could also take part of in a competition between Shining Armor and Twilight. I understand from that point of view that he saw himself as a brother to them. But to him, they felt like they were ignoring him despite he was way younger, even though that he was just a baby dragon. And despite that they had continued doing this competition shortly before Twilight's moving to Ponyville. Understandable, but then Spike was old enough to at least that he can talk. He knew exactly what is the rules of the game. Despite he was part of the family, that they never included him in that. That is, in a way, as abusement, yes. But how they eventually realized the mistake and allowed him to be part of the game again. But then the thing is, not only Spike have been abused. Sweetie Belle has also been one of the opponents and also have been abused by not like her oldest sister when she tried to make her cooking for them, and even Scootaloo had been abused for a few times. Well, not physically, but maybe as mentally from before Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon was reformed. But then it turns out that even Diamond Tiara, she was abused. She was mentally abused by her own mother. Because, especially when she was running to be the class president. And that Peepsqueak. No, wait. No, actually, it was a Peepsqueak who was running as a contestant opponent. Seeing how her, in the end, how Diamond Tiara stood up for herself once against her mother. And having that as a parent being abusing you mentally or physically, that is what this show is also showing us. This show is not only to teaching us about true friendship. The authors or the creators of the show had actually put in real life scenarios for us, like abusement, or true friendship, true love, anything like that makes the life is as it is. I mean, all of us could have been abused in some way without even not knowing it. I mean, what if, like, say, if Game Guy's parents, they have been yelling at him many times, and he thought maybe that wasn't abusement, or if Brony had any something like that from his family, screaming at him or yell at him or something like that. Because abuse, it doesn't have to be physical abuse. It could be mental abuse. And that can also leave scars. and seeing how the criticism that the people had against it within the fandom for Spike, that's understandable. But like I said, the most abused character that people think can even think is Spike. But they don't understand or even get it that not only Spike is the only one who is abused. There is Diamond Tiara. She was mentally abused by her mother because of her supposed high status, and now she married into the rich family. And there you have Scoolaloo because of when she was bullied by Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon because that she was like that she couldn't fly. And Sweet Belle for some other reasons, but there's it goes to show you. Not only that you may, when you think about when you're hearing the word abuse with the MLOP, you may immediately just think of Spike, but you don't understand. What you don't understand for that, the abusement happens throughout the entire show from not only just one character. It could happen to almost anyone. It just like say Fluttershy. Her has been abused by say mentally abused by, say, Iron Will when he was teaching her how to be confident, which is understandable that he was trying to make her feel more confident and not to be so scared all the time. But how she immature over time herself. But she was always intimidated. But her brother, Zephyr, he was completely. He actually he did anything he wanted to do when he came home from when he first made his appearance. His first appearance made that he could do anything without his parents even punish him. Especially when he damaged some of the jars that contain some of the clouds that his father has been collected. It is like that he could do anything at the home without even being punished. The only one who managed to stand up for that was actually Fluttershy. In the end, she had enough because that was almost a mental abuse from Zephyr to his own parents. That ignorance. Just imagine that. And having so many abusement for because when it comes to mental abuse, there can be on different levels, different ways of doing it. It could be psychological, mental abuse, or it just be verbal abuse, or any reasonable. Think about it. Spike is the most known that we had within the MLP that has been abused. Then you have the others, like Dami Tiara and her mother. Then, what about the G5? Well, there's only one that I can immediately that I can say is abused, which is Misty. Opaline always abusing her mentally.
Mm.
And I mean, think about it. Misty all she wants is to find out who what true purpose is, what her true talent is. In I can understand that she is willing, but she had almost been like brainwashed by Opaline. She had been abused enough from her screaming at her that she is going to do that every time when she went to find when she is always going when she was like to find when she was sent to Mirtan Bay to get Sparky so that she can get the fire of him to get more power. Well, in a way, she failed to bring Sparky to Opaline, but she managed to get something else. She managed to grab a glass jar and contain one of Sparky's flames. So even though the part of the plan was failed, but also had one succeeded in that. But seeing how much that I don't think, despite that Opaline had said that she is going to try to help um, Misty to get her cutie mark, but I really doubted that she's even having attention to do that. It just As Chris said, don't be upset with me saying this, but I don't like when mostly Twilight all the time. That is what also bothers me, what put spikes in her shadow and envy. Well, that's true though, Cody. I mean, even though the code that's Twilight do love Spike, but even despite in the early times when it happens, I can understand that most of the others are um how they have been abused. Spike is the well known that been abused by, but if we don't think about it, there are many other characters have been abused. Even like in G5, we have Misty, the one who's been abused by her adopted mother, Upoli. And look who's back. Kubo the Coconut.
Hi, and yes, I'm back.
Training again?
Not this time. Actually, I was doing something.
Hmm. Eating?
What?
Eating?
Nope, not yet.
Yeah, so I mean I can understand that Twilight were I mean first Twilight was not a much she never made intention to abuse Spike or any way. I don't believe that. It just may have had caught in it might have been like caught in the back in the okay. It might have been like say Spike is caught in the fire during in the situation what happened. I mean, just it's possible that when Twilight and her friends were doing something, and suddenly Spike just end up in a con in a just end up in cop that he was captured, caught in a fire. Man, I can't speak today. Welcome to my life. Oh man, I mean, think about it though. If this, I mean, I can understand. I really hope that in your in the next season 3 or season 4 of G5, we can see that Misty realized her mistake and perhaps might even to grasp her understandable that how much she came to realization that Opaline is only using her for her own personal gain. But what do you think though, Game Yard?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's possible.
I mean, since Opaline was raising her, which I can understand that but the question is, quote unquote, how she found her. We don't know anything more about Mrs. backstory. Only that she was found by Opaline, but she's just a filly. Question is, how? But at least she has someone raising her. But then she was waiting to magic return. Once it did, she wanted to have Misty to go to Maritime Bay to grab all the magic that she wore existed, and also learning at how the Earth ponies had their magic. But I can understand for many reasons. Like, I mean, despite how many missions that Misty failed for Opaline, and how she was screaming at her, and in near the end, one of the episodes where Misty is crying in her own room, it's like it feels that she is almost came to almost have the realization that Opaline doesn't even care about her in the same way as a parent should do, or an adopted parent. That she only thinks all that she thinks is to get more power, to get the magic back, her power back, and it is almost like it is like almost if Misty had this as a thought, maybe Opaline is not going to help me to get my Q mark. Maybe she had lied about it the whole time. And what if that happens in the next chapter of the G5? That Misty realized that Opaline has lied to her, that she's not have no intention to helping her to get the Q mark. All that she needs that had to have her after she had helped Opaline to get the magic that she wanted. that she had regained all her magic power again, and that she had no use of Misty anymore, and maybe just cast her out, or maybe keeping her as a cleaning servant or something. Imagine that. Then it had probably where when Misty realized that Opaline had lied to her the whole time, that she has never intent to help her to get the Q mark that she wished to have. Or if that she overhears Opaline saying that mare thinks I'm going to help her to get her Q mark, but she doesn't realize that I'm never going to do that. And that might hurt Missy so much. Because she had been dependent on Opaline all time, her in her whole life so far. And that meaning that every time that she was trying to help Opaline to get more powerful, she thought maybe that she was one step closer to get the power that she wanted. But intentionally, unknowingly, that it meant one step closer to get more power again, but no step any closer for her to even. It's like the step. Like every time when Misty is helping Opaline to get her magic back, to be more so powerful again, it is like one step further up, and then she herself is never had been raising that. She's hoping that she will get the Q mark, but never will. And then if she hears that if she overhears that Opaline's never had it that intentionally, she may just simply leave the castle, go to Mertan Bay to inform the main five about it. But here's the problem with that. Even if the main five had managed to figure out who the Twilight was trying to warn them about Opaline, and they had probably even have found much information about her from Sunny's father's research, depending on what he actually did have any. But depending on that, if Misty goes to the Maritime Bay to help to telling the truth the whole time to the main five that she has been living with while she was raised by Opaline, and that she is helping her to get the magic that she wanted, and also telling them her intentions of Opaline's true intentions. But the question is, though, if the main five would even believe her, because they probably were like, what if this is another trick that Opaline has sent her to make this appear as real? It is, and then it probably would be hard to even probably like, how would they figure out what all the things that Misty have been telling them is real or not? That's a question. It's difficult to realize from any point of view. Well, Coney, it's possible. It's the next chapter 4 might be released sometimes in I don't know, but assumingly MLOPG5 might the chapter 4 or 3 or what it's going to be. I would have been guessing that chapter will be released on maybe March or April this year. Considering that was probably around since the first chapter was released in April or March that time. So it's possible they will be releasing around the same time again. It's only assuming it. But assuming that Misty overhears Opaline had no intention to help Misty to get the Q mark, she feels heartbroken. She feels devastated and had been lied to, had been dependent on how to be helping Misty, Opaline. But if Misty is trying to ruin every single time to prevent any of the magical artifacts or the dragon's fire to get Opaline more powerful, eventually Opaline could either just can realize that Misty is doing that she is failing every assignment on purpose. And then she realized that maybe that Misty knows she is not going to help her to get her cutie mark. Or simply that she made another simple answer is that maybe that she is feeling that Opaline, that Misty is incompetent, that she is not the right pony to be helping her. Maybe that she feels maybe Misty is incompetent, that she can even handle a simple task. Despite have failed a few times before, maybe it's then after that she had failed so many times that she cast her out. But I don't think she would even do that. Because if she did, there is no way for her to just go into the Midtown Bay herself to grab the magic or grab the dragon without being drawn attentionally. And it's hard to say for certain about that point of view. But even if that Misty realized what the true attention that Opaline has never intention to help her to get the cure mark, despite how many times she had promised to do that. And if she realized there's no way for her to be helping her. And even if she would go back, even if Misty goes all the way to Midtown Bay to inform the May 5 all about it. Because here's the thing. Since Opaline gave Misty this like a how to say this, like a makeup box which has it like a small mirror in it, which has Sunny to look in, and that's Opaline had been using her image, well, to be talking to Sunny, but using Sunny's image to pretend that she is in her inner voice. And what if that? But since the problem is that mirror can only work outside the lighthouse, because if it's taken in, it doesn't even work. It's like a barrier protecting that. Maybe it is some form of magical radiation or barrier that prevents from that. And it seems that it happens that if Sunny and the others are inside the lighthouse and Misty comes in there to tell them what happened, then she's telling them that the mirror that she has is the one way to link that Opaline can see what's happening. But she tells them that something in this magic in this lighthouse is preventing from her to seeing it while this mirror is inside. While it is outside, it has all access to it. But like I said before, there's no way for the main 5 to even to know what Misty has been telling them is real, or if it's just a completely lie. Because there is no way for them to confirm what she has been telling them is the real truth. Don't you think so? I mean, what do you think, Game Guy?
I have no idea.
As always. Yeah, I mean, think about it. Okay, if you were in Missy's position, you were a pony that hasn't got its Q mark yet, and that you have been raised by a powerful alicorn, but now in her weakened state, she has been giving you assignment all the time to help her to regain her magical powers again, and a promise in exchange that give you to help you to find your true talent is, and that you learns she never had intention to do it. But and like I said, and you're telling the main 5, but how would you even be able to prove in yourself? It's not unlike that she will take them all to the castle where Opaline lives. That's it too risky, because it made it like if say it's like, wait, we can't go in there. What if this is a trap? They had no way to trust Misty otherwise. It could have been clear, what if this actually had been a lie to her the whole time, in that eventually when she do get inside with them, snap, they're trapped in a magical barrier, they cannot escape, they're trapped. I mean, there is for since they can't find any ways to proven what I mean, since that there's no way for Misty to prove for the main five what she had been telling them is the whole true story, unless that she could manage to bring something with her, but that's the problem. There is no things. I mean, it is unlike that Misty could just drain out the magic from Opaline and give it back to the main five as proof. That's impossible otherwise. But telling them all the things that's what she had been doing, there is, like I said, there is. I can understand why the main five probably would even have hard time to believe Misty, despite the truth that she had been telling them about Opaline's true intention to have the society being divided again by so that she can rule the Equestria by fear, not unity. And so here's the problem. There's the only one problem in Opaline's plan. Because once the crystals had been united and that the opponents had to accept the friendship once again, made them to unite, the crystal unite and admit the magic in Equestria. If Opaline returns officially and makes everyone to hate each other again, the magic that had once been spread out and the crystals may just simply fall to ground completely useless. Like if there's like the magic in the world has been severed. Because in one particular episode where the magic in the first I think it was in the first feature movie when this was just before the Earth ponies had their magic. Seeing how much the hatred or distrust happened, how the magic fluctuated, how the magic was fluctuated, how the Pegasi was flying suddenly was dropping to the ground, and unicorns couldn't even use the spells anymore. But after that happened, realize from that is one of the things. If Opaline really is trying to make this society divided and make, and once again, mistrust and paranoia among the society. Because since the magic in the crystals, if the crystal is separated once again like that, and I don't even know what exactly could happen. But imagine if that happened, the crystals fell to the ground, completely useless, that ponies hate each other again, and maybe then Opaline's like, finally my plan has worked. But then it's that she hasn't realized, even despite the magic she has, might there also been a limit. I mean, it's possible that magic he has, that Opaline had at the time later on, would eventually fade. And if that happened, she realized her mistake. Now that the crystals are no longer separated or united, and the opponents hate each other again, there is no way for them to just bring them back together and hope to this friendship spark again. It's unlikely that happened. Then Opaline realized her big mistake. What? I screwed that up again, didn't I? I mean, unless that somehow Opaline could somehow drain the magic out of the crystals into herself. Since Twilight did mention in this magical hologram that she had put all her own magic, and including the magic in Equestria, inside the crystals. And since the crystal was separated, all things there were no magic anymore for generations. And if that happened again, it's hard to say if Opaline would have been able to drain the magic from the crystals, she may be might have been immense powerful. She maybe even be unstoppable. That means, despite how much the friendship the other Ponykinds tried to had it once again accept the friendship for a second time, but the crystals won't work because they are now just normal crystals. The magic is completely gone. I mean, I don't know if since Twilight put her own magic in the crystals, it's more likely there's possibility that the magic can be drained from those crystals. But even if that's possible, I don't know if even if Opaline even knows a way for that, or if even okay, assuming it is possible, there is also that assuming that even if Opaline knows that is a possibility to drain the magic from the crystals, but knowing there had to be a spell, but only ones that knew about it was Twilight, and it's unlikely that Twilight just wrote it down in a book of spells. Because in a way to prevent that from happening, she may have been the only one who actually knew the spell. Unless, it's unlikely that she would just find Discord, ask him to drain the magic from the crystals. In the comics, he separated the crystals in a way for prevent the magic return. But Opaline, her plans is completely wicked. I don't understand why. Because if the crystal is separated once again, the ponies hate each other again. The magic that she once had would be completely gone. How would she be able to rule the society by fear if she don't have her own magic? Because she won't be able to fly around. She can't even use her own magic. I don't think any of those ideas of the plan that Opaline had even thought of her plan so much. Opaline may be an interesting villain in G5, but some of her ideas or plans are completely idiotic. Some had even been thought through really clearly. So, but if I ask this, game guy, who do you think is the best villain of the G5, included from the G5 and G4?
Well, why can I not remember a single villain? What the heck?
Well, there will be minus Discord and Starlight. That would be like, okay, if it includes down, that would be Tyrek, Koziglo, Discord, Chrysalis. Let's say Chrysalis, Tyrek,
I'd probably say
Koziglo.
Chrysalis.
Same here. I'd probably say maybe it's Tyrek. It's very difficult to say exactly why. Oh yeah, Sombra. Almost forgot him. Thanks for that, Cody. Think about it. It's having so many villains stuff about that, and I wouldn't even say if someone like say, well, Misty, she's a villain. Well, not necessarily. She is not a what I would
She's
say.
not really a villain. She's just being manipulated.
Yeah, she's more like you said, manipulated psychic. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that much.
Though I wonder if one day they manage to defeat Opaline, if they will reveal other villains as well. Because I know G4 had a lot of villains, not just one.
Yeah,
There's probably gonna
okay.
be more villains, yeah.
Yeah, from this, Tyrek and Smoosh, they were both from the G3 World series. But the thing is, Tyrek, Scorpion was also from G3, but that was different from the G4 and G3 version is that Tyrek in G3 had stolen something. I think about his soul from Scorpion. And that Scorpion was in his show, he wore this gargoyle. But when he got this soul back, he turned into human, which was his true form. He was actually a human prince, transformed into Scorpion by Tyrek. And Smoosh in G3, he was actually not green. He was purple. He was a purple slime villain. But in G4, he was not that. He was because in G3 he could talk, but in G4 he couldn't. And it's this is how most the villains appearing. And also Grugar, he was also a character from G3, and his appearance is almost identical from him in G4. And it's possible that he could appear in G5 also. Maybe Sombra. Since technically Sombra didn't die, I don't think he actually can die, since he's not actually a pony. He's a shadow pony. Or a pony of shadow or something. I mean, it's like, say, if Goldfire was like Sombra, and if the Twilight used her magic on him to do defeat, and then they think, oh, he's gone, but he isn't. He just returned in the darkness and regenerate into being powerful again. But if from this Opaline, well, she may take time for her to get returned back to the former strength. Even it meant she had to absorb the magic from the dragon magic, the dragon fire, or any other available
Okay,
sources.
Cody.
What?
I just looked. I sent Cody said in the private chat.
Yeah, I probably won't be doing this stream for that much longer, anyways. Probably, I think maybe to when I reach 1 hour 45 minutes or so something. Since I don't think I have any hours left on this time, honestly.
But I mean, I wish they did. I said this before. I wish they did continue with G4 because that was one of the best MLP series that they did in television because it was nicely detailed. Honestly, I would have loved to have seen two things. One, a couple of the fans' shipping ideas come forward. I mean, they had two done in there. They had Apple Dash, which I never knew was going on among the shipping lists, and plus they had, I think, Pinkie Pie married cheese sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they had all of them get married, and then end the series.
Yeah, probably.
And honestly, I don't think the Royal Sisters should have retired.
And why is that?
Because first off, they're excellent rulers of Equestria. I won't deny that. But after Twilight and her friends defeat Tyrek and complete after find the sixth rainbow key, the object with the rainbow coloration going through it, and they go to his chest and become power-ups to defeat Tyrek. Twilight is given her own castle, which gets me confused. Like, if you two are going to retire and you want Twilight to be on the throne, then why give her her own castle in the first place if you two are going to retire and then let her take over the palace?
Well,
Like, that
here's
makes
the
no
thing.
sense. You don't give Twilight a castle and then tell her to take over the royal palace just because you're retiring.
Well, here's the thing, though. First, this council that Twilight has wasn't from Luna or Celestia. They had no involvement in that whatsoever. And it seems true. It seems that when this was in season 4 ending, and since Twilight became the ruler in season 9, which was 5 seasons later, I don't think the writers even had in mind had to even plan for that far in the future. If there were even a possibility that they had already planned, it's going to be one day that Twilight maybe they had attention that maybe that Twilight's going to be using her castle, because in the 5th season, Twilight, she didn't want to live in her own castle at first. She didn't felt home there. She had been living in the old library for until Tirac destroyed it. And I can understand from their point of view from Twilight from that. But seeing how much the pain and that she had been suffering, and I can understand. I mean, having a whole castle just appearing like that. What if they probably had it first in mind? What if they decide that Ponyville would be in a smaller kingdom within Questria, where Twilight would have been the main ruler? But it didn't work end up being like that. Maybe that the castle were just maybe just something that they didn't had intention to make, because they probably even had planned it so far in the future to make Twilight the
Okay,
main
if
ruler.
okay, Srish, if they had intentionally planned on making that castle, then why on earth would it appear in the show then?
True. I mean, okay, maybe it is possible that even though they had no plans to make Twilight the main ruler from season four's ending at the time, what if they made that the castle so that she would accept to live in a castle to embrace her official title, which is Princess of Friendship? Since we can see from this one, Cadence, she lived in the Crystal Empire's palace, and she was a princess of love. We have Luna and Luna and Celestia live in a Canterlot Castle, which are
Royal
princess of the
Palace.
sun or palace, yeah, since they are the princess of the moon and its sun. And before Twilight even had her castle, she was just that, a princess. She didn't have any official title because she didn't know what the title was her purpose were. Until she when it was then when the council appeared, maybe it was just to be a temporary solution.
I I would never have thought that. I mean, first off,
Yellow, I've been a stream.
I never would have thought that, Srish, because I mean, I have my own little bit of theories. I mean, first off, when Celestia told Twilight her backstory about how she realized her friendship wasn't rising enough because she was studying a lot, not focusing on friends. Like you saw that backstory where Twilight's Caroline friends are in that science class, and Twilight made that magical plant, give a whole five and such. Um, Celestia wanted her to, have friends, and had kept her in Caroline as long as she had need to. She probably wanted
Exactly.
Twilight to make friends and all.
Yeah, but
And
even though this, even when that Celestia knew that one day soon her sister would return when the stars were aligned, because she knew that, but it's nothing she could have prevented it. And it's unlike that Celestia even could somehow
well,
read in,
she had
seen in.
prevented for 1,000 years with that banishment.
Well, the banishment lasted for 1,000 years, yes, but she couldn't just extend it because when it happened after 1,000 years, it would have been broken. Then she was able to escape. She couldn't just by like she had to rebanish Luna again in order for that to work. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked.
And
And
who
I
knows
think,
how much powerful Luna would have been, and how scary she would have looked had she returned a second time.
true. I mean, after all that, when she was freed from the influence of Night and Moon, Luna was in her weak. She was too weak to be anything because you can probably see in what she was. Her body was light blue. When later in the series, she was like dark blue, like marine blue.
Hmm.
She was just in her weakened state. And I don't think, but anyways, I don't think there's a possibility that despite that Twilight had her own castle, now she had her own official title, but it's more as likely that even though I don't think Twilight was not even aware, even Celestia had no idea what was going to happen in the future. She didn't have the ability to see in the future. Only what happened when she sensed that Terra had returned, but that was in a dream, not an actual like a vision. And it's
I
possible
mean,
maybe even if even Celeste did had this future vision ability, but it never explained it all. Even if she knew how Celeste Twilight would eventually become the next ruler, she wouldn't have mentioned it otherwise. Because if she had told Twilight about it, she would have been more scared even more then. And
I mean, I don't really. I think she would. I think Twilight already knew that the castle was hers because even if it wasn't given to her particularly by Celestia or Luna, it was made out of this crystal out of that crystal chest because it magically appeared right out of the ground and such, given to her, probably like as like a magical gift. But you hear Celestia say in the show that I do believe it is yours. That's
yeah,
what made me think that the that castle was Twilight's, since
yeah,
Celestia helped her become a princess on her journey and all.
exactly. But I don't think that was Celestia's intention that to make Twilight's immediate replacement after she would retire. I don't think she even had made it intentionally because what if, okay, even if that was true that they had made Twilight the next in line in ruling, but what would happen if the Twilight didn't want to be next? Who will they have asked? Twilight was probably the only option.
Which
Since say,
we're probably to another thing I wanted them to do. I saw a video. You may not have seen it on YouTube. They had a video of where would have been if Chrysalis was reformed, and they had her like this light blue uh colored goddess of a changeling pony. And I mean, Starlight wanted her to experience, what it was like to be in friendship. But for them to say no and then later make her go evil all over again, that was all completely stupid. Because to me, it was about time Chrysalis learned a lot of good friendship.
I mean, it's possible, but at the same
But
time, here's another thought. Even if that the castle was made for Twilight, even if she knew it was hers, and perhaps the castle was just one step in a line in a way to do that. But even if Twilight did have declined the offer to be the next in line, who else would have been? Not Cadence, because she had to rule the Crystal Empire. And Flurry, she would have been way too young, unless that maybe Luna decides to rule the kingdom herself. But that would have been nothing. It wouldn't.
okay, but
Considering,
here's the thing. If Luna did decide to, take over ruling the palace, with her sister retired, would Celestia continue raising the sun and lowering it, or would she have passed that magic onto either Luna or Twilight?
I think maybe that she would pass on to Luna. I mean, eventually Celestia probably done it. It went to Twilight, since. But here's another thing about it. Here's one thought. In the G5, the moon and the sun lowers itself even before the magic turns. And that is unlike anyone even could, because if the magic was gone, even if Celestia and Luna were alive and they were the original opponents that controlled the moon and sun, and without the magic, their magic would have been gone too. So there's unlikely that they could even have raised the lower and rising the moon and sun.
Okay,
And
can I
so
ask you
who
something? In G5, um, even with Luna being in her young age and Celestia being retired and all, if Celestia chose to retire on her own and pass the throne to Luna, would Luna have had a chance at appearing in G5, since she, even though she's, you know, even though 1,000 years had gone by, she would still have been at her young age, like in the 400 or 500s, considering she had lived for exactly 1,000 years alongside her sister, to which she would have been the exact height and age of Celestia.
hard to say. I mean, even Opaline stated that she is immortal.
Please.
She said that.
Mm. But
So question is,
if Luna didn't decide to retire, do you think there would be a chance she would have made at least one appearance in G5?
well, it's possible she could make an appearance in G5 as maybe a
Herself?
traveler or something.
I mean, I would have loved to see her appear as herself. That would have been epic. I mean, and also, um, you know, lots of people. I I really would have wanted to see Chrysalis perform. I mean, if they had shown her some friendship and she reformed her into a nice looking point instead of her creepy changeling form appearance that we've seen her in throughout the series, would she have had a chance to be on the throne?
Mm. Um,
I mean,
that's
that's a secondary possibility.
um maybe, but uh, yeah, that depends, of course, on the general public how they accept her, who she is.
And also, I had one interesting thought right after G5, right before, right when G4 was going on, because I was hoping they'd go for a few more seasons, because I would have wanted them to go for 10 seasons. The 10th one being them marrying and then catch up learning some things about their lives and such, of how far they've come and how much they appreciate each other. But if Twilight had stayed in that castle, which I'm sure she would have, instead of going to the palace, uh, scratch that. You know, I, I s- you know, Celestia retiring, I can understand because she's been there for possibly over 1,500 years, maybe close to 2,000. But if Luna had decided to stay on there, and she had possibly asked Twilight, to help her out at the Royal Palace, move over there to help her out, would Twilight have would Twilight pass the castle to her friends as well as Starlight and Trixie, calling it the castle of friendship friends? Because they were her friends, and she probably would have done something good for them. Like she would have
It's
passed that
possible.
castle on to her friends.
It's possible, but even so, I know that at least that um, I know that in season 8 in Horseplay, uh, they actually revealed the exact length of time um, how long Celestia ruled, which were 1,111 years. Four at once.
She
One,
does
one, one.
not look that old.
Nope. But here's another thought. In the last of the season of season 9, in the last problem, Luster Dawn, who were Twilight's new student or pupil, and as she took the role as Celestia did years earlier, she became her teacher. So it's likely a possibility the next one to become a princess would have been Luster Dawn. I mean, they're pretty
Mhm.
repeat the cycle. Unless that there's gonna be Starlight to transform into an alicorn. I mean, that is a lot of fan
I
fiction.
mean, did we see a Shining turn into an Alicorn in that song at the end?
Hmm.
Her
Not that I
brother.
think of. No, no, I don't think so. I don't know.
I,
I mean,
I saw a YouTube video. I had my arrow on and it was playing, a little bit of it. And I could have sworn I saw Shine reveal that he had wings.
in the actual episode,
Like in the friendship song right at the end to end the series.
huh? You know what?
And
I
also I
never
would
actually.
I would have to say even if he's not an official MLP villain, I have to say my favorite villain is Kovu right next to me.
I would not be the villain. I would be more of an anti-hero.
Now you would be a gas out villain because one
No,
and we're all dead.
he will be like Pumbaa.
The death of all bugs.
Yeah, and
That'd be
And the-
stupid flag.
and the fat laughing psychic.
You better watch it, or I'll burn your ass, Kovu.
Yeah, just try it, you little son of a. I can't say that. Shut up.
Watch your language, little lady.
Exactly, Coconut.
If I could, I would. I could have said so many things right now.
Nah, but you're surrounded by kisses from Rainbow Dash. Ha ha.
Ghost was telling you though. Goldfire probably would bang Pinkie Pie.
Nah,
Who?
she's not my type.
Wait,
I
who?
wouldn't know-
Yeah, because
I
he
would-
Pinkie.
I wouldn't know
Oh.
how I wouldn't know how to handle her because she's so energetic.
I mean, Pinky would be a
That's
good
more
ride.
likely
Though.
for-
That would be kind of.
Maybe Game Guy could be Pinkie.
Well, yeah, because Pinky does like games, so maybe Pinky'd be a good type for him. Don't get me wrong,
would
Game
you
Guy.
smash Pinky though?
Don't get me wrong, though, Game Guy. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry, I didn't.
Swedish, would you smash Pinky though?
Nah. She's too crazy for me, my taste.
Kovu, Kovu, I could see him banging Lord Ember.
A dragon,
get his-
cool, but Mother would also be cool.
I wouldn't.
Actually, you
I
remember
would want to have a
Arpia
bird
was-
mark. I would want to have a bird mark of bite bites in the neck. No thanks.
Actually,
I'd
I
rather take-
remember
I'd rather
that
be-
when I was smashing both
I'd
Amber
rather
and
be in
Smolder.
the.
Anyway,
I would rather be in with I don't know.
Nightmare Moon. No, we could have funny.
No.
Tree hugger. She's a lesbian.
Oh, you mean Fluttershy's friend?
Fluttershy's new friend, yeah.
Yeah, Fluttershy's friend. You know, I could honestly see Swedish, you know, having some time, you know, making it out with Sunset Shimmer.
Probably.
There was a time when people thought that Sunset Shimmer and Starlight Glimmer were kind of the same characters, technically.
Well, they were villains, but suddenly reformed and all. I mean, Starlight took everyone's key mark, but kept her own and hidden, which I understand how they didn't realize it. Like, their bodies are dull colored, but yet Starlight is still brightly colored. Had she actually lost her key mark, she would have been just like them.
Yeah.
Instead of bright colored.
And I can't remember what Sunset Shimmer did because the only Equestria Girls that I watched is the Rainbow Watch one. I haven't seen the other ones. But Sunset does seem pretty cool though. She seems kind of like a tomboy kind of character, and I like it.
I mean, like I said, this I probably would have been if I was a pony character and if she was still alive, I would say peanut butter.
Applejack's mom? Oh, what? Polarizer.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, oh
Throw
dear.
these on-
Oh
It's
no, our
It's,
friendly
it's
UK coconut.
Hey, what's up, you Arabian knight?
oh boy. It's our favorite European Pop Tart Scarecrow.
Oh, I thought he was Arabian.
How are y'all doing? How's everyone
Where
doing?
do
I'm doing pretty
Wait,
good.
You showed up at the end of the stream. I'm sorry.
I'm doing pretty good. I felt lonesome sitting down here next to a scarecrow.
Well,
Nah, that's your lover.
Ew, no.
Oh, we talking about?
Hell
Are we
no!
talking,
I
are we
would
talking
not want to
about-
be with Maraca. He's way
Are
too
we talking
ugly.
about Satsuma? Are we talking about
So
Satsuma?
are you with all your facial hair.
Ha! Good try, but you haven't seen me yet.
Fam,
I have.
Nor do I want to, because I'd probably
remember
turn
last
to
July?
stone.
You remember last July, yeah? You remember last July? I felt like you guys thought I was a 30-year-old. You guys thought I was a 30-year-old.
30?
Yeah, because of the beard. You know, because of the big beard I have.
Koba looks like someone off a Duck Dynasty fantasy.
Let's see.
I mean, I am in a lot of fantasy, but anyway.
Let's see. Yeah. So, were you guys talking about Sunset Shimmer? Because-
Yeah. We were saying which kind of character we would smash, and then god dang it, now we can't say it anymore because young teenager angst boys are here.
Oh wait, who is it? That same guy who was the weatherman or something?
That's Stormy.
Stormy. Oh,
Hmm.
Hey,
hello, Mister. Wait, do I know you?
Hey, Polarizer.
It's her favorite person.
What do you mean? Do you know him? Of course you know him.
Yeah.
Stormy.
Hey, Polarizer.
why are we having the conversation about knowing
Yeah.
me? You know me for almost a year.
that's what I was saying. How can you say how do I know him?
Jackass.
Yeah, go fire.
Would it be okay if I made
Don't worry, I ain't
you
here
an
to troll or
OC
anything.
off of my Avatar app?
What?
Avatar, the way of water.
Dads, I'm too old for these childish pranks.
I mean, some pranks are good.
I'm just not going to talk about it.
Jesus.
But I think the prank masters in this group chat is probably Game Guy because I remember him saying that he was going to prank War sometimes with his brother.
That
I'm
happened
not
once.
that well. I'm not pranking anymore, so don't call me no prank master because I ain't pranking.
Well, a prankster is kind of it's not really a bad thing. It's more like a funny thing. Well,
Yeah.
depends on which kind of pranks you do because
yeah. I don't want to talk about it.
I just heard a balloon pop.
Sounds like someone unzipping
What?
their pants.
I just heard a balloon pop.
That's farting.
I thought it was a balloon that was like that was like getting blown and then it was
I was
popping up.
asking.
You want me to say what that sounds like?
What?
You say Malfoy. There's no
I'll
Malfoy here,
mess
sorry.
with you,
It'd be
there,
okay if I
Polar.
made him an OC on my Avatar Maker app. Yeah, man.
I
Yo,
don't know if
man.
you
Yeah,
wanna know
man. You
what
can
I
you
think
can do that
about
if you
that.
want. You can do that if you want.
Hey, you want?
You can do that if you want.
Sounds
You
like
what?
someone unzipping their
Polarizer?
pants.
I might make you a wolf OC.
Wolf? Like a Timberwolf?
Honestly, anything, I'll be happy with. Anything, I'll be happy with.
Nah. I'll still be as my awesome hot self.
This is why.
Whoa! Wow! I didn't know
Oh.
Stormy's farts were so catastrophic.
I didn't
What the
fart.
fuck?
Polar.
That's Swedish.
Stormy, stop
Yep.
farting, you atomic
Okay,
bomb!
Well, I gotta go.
Hey, Polarizer. This is what I meant by wolf OC.
Yeah, you can do that if you want, man. You can do that if you want. I don't mind.
Okay,
I gotta go
someone
eat.
Someone sounding like unzipping their pants was unentertaining at first, but starting.
That's Kobu because he doesn't. That's Kobu because he doesn't take off his pants as much.
Well, I have no idea how you know that information, but anyway.
There you go.
Well, it's not. Well, I can say this. I've never been onto eBay, so I wouldn't know either.
Oh, I've ordered stuff off eBay before.
You want some stuff on eBay? That sounds really drug addict.
Ow, ow, how's it really dramatic? How's it really fucking dramatic? How's it? No, how is it really fucking dramatic? Come on, tell me. How is it really dramatic? And this was before I met you guys. This was before we all started going crazy in our own.
Before we
world.
started going crazy?
Oi! Really, Swedish?
Hey, Swedish, you're gonna let Polarizer just sort of diss your
Swedish.
friends like that?
Swedish, private check.
Coconut noise. Coconut. Goldfire, you missed the O. You missed the O.
I
Check out my
realized
new
that
name.
I'm still trying to get used to fast typing. Okay, Polarizer. I'm still trying to get used to typing fast.
Hey, Swedish.
Coconutizer.
Hey, yo, game guy, check out my new name.
El Nino.
El
You know what
Nino
El
strikes
Nino
You know what
again.
that means?
That means rain.
Coconut criticizer. Hold on.
Good thing Lord's not here, otherwise we'd be calling him Salamanderizer.
Nostalgia. Nos Navigatorizer. Hold on. The Nas Navigatorizer.
Not.
Has anyone ever watched the Nos Narrator? Has anyone ever watched the Nos Narrator?
No.
Yep.
No
I
one.
accidentally removed myself.
I've never.
I have.
Okay. Well, right now, do you want me to give you a heads up, Swedish? Right now, everyone thought, like Lost was dead. All of our subscribers thought that she was dead, but in reality, she told her fans that she was still working on videos. She was also still working on animations with her wife, Magpie, on her channel, and she was just taking a break from YouTube, to focus on the mental health and take care of family matters and spend time with the wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, because
Considering that, like, when the COVID happened, it just, a lot of people had normal jobs, but someone had to have been quit. Also depending for which type of job you had. So, but I can understand that, especially COVID, many people went almost crazy if there were lockdowns. Trust me, it's
tell me about it.
Stormy currently is being an idiot.
Tell me about it. And yeah, man, I just recently got in touch with an old friend from school just today, and it was really nice because we haven't spoken 2 years, me and this person. We haven't spoken 2 years. We were in the same class, and before you guys start gossiping. Gossiping. Yes,
What's going on?
yes, it's a go. Yes, that friend's a go, and I know what you guys are gonna.
Stormy called me Swedish Diablo sucks.
Once. Does he call me an idiot? Just saying.
This is all part of the banter. Come on, man.
Stormy, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Ooh.
Same goes for me.
That would sound nice.
Actually,
Yeah, unlike you.
yeah, actually, I will. Fam, actually, I will. I'm gonna take my controller with my roomie and my PS3 controller and shove it all the way up your throat.
Oh, that'll feel good.
I will stick my hand through this computer screen.
Can
Despite
I
the fact
smack
that
it?
it's literally
Yeah.
impossible.
Can I smack it?
No, you can't smack it, you
Cause you can't reach through the camera.
Yeah. Dog.
gonna
Did you just
my
call me
God,
a
I
dog?
swear to God.
I call Game Guy a dog.
Jesus. Tell you something, Stormy. For once, I'm gonna apologize for this quickly, but you're a fucking moron. I apologize. There.
Normal teenage. At least I make
Yeah.
at least I make a B in math. That's good. That's
And polarizer jackass.
I know more math than all of you.
Thanks for
Oh,
the
really?
compliment.
You
I love a bit of banter.
Yeah, you can't yeah, but you can't count the amount of times you've been a jerk, so
True.
Yes, I've been a jerk.
Mr.
Yes, I've been.
Mr. Stormy. I was talking to Stormy, not you, Polarizer.
let's
Oh,
check that,
oh.
shall we? Let's check that.
Polarizer is high on
Hold on a minute.
Well,
How much?
Game Guy, I can't count, so I don't know what you're saying.
Oh, please, no more drama.
Don't worry,
Jeez.
I'm not.
Agreed. All right.
Don't worry, I'm
Not
not
worth
doing no
it.
drama.
Fighting over this kid anyway.
It's a new
Nope.
year, new start, vibing, bro.
Don't
I've
worry, I wasn't
been-
doing no drama. I was just
I've been a lonely
being
lad
Stormy,
throughout last week, and I thought why
being a
not
legend.
speak to you guys. Because
Well,
I got friends.
God, you should have seen that.
Because I got friends from, I got friends in the primary
Polarizer.
community. Yo,
Someday I wish you could stick around for Super Millionaire.
Hold on a second. Swedish is saying something. Swedish, what are you going to say?
Just about to end here, anyways.
I'm gonna
Well,
need to
this has
think
been-
about it because
All right.
I'm gonna
Well,
need to
this
think
has
about
been-
it.
So this has been a lot of insanity.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
Actually,
Well-
I've just been here for 15 minutes, so
Jackass.
I know it's a new world record. This is your longest you've been here.
Jesus.
Longer than Goldfinger has.
Hey, boy.
No.
Well, see ya, everyone. Bye.
Bye.